What's going on, everybody? It's Brian Trippe. Welcome to the REI Live podcast. Yes, that is right. The new name of our podcast is REI Live, Real Estate Investing Live. I'm going to get to that in just one second. I want to welcome you to this week's episode of the podcast. Every Tuesday morning, this podcast comes out, and we put out an interview show. We do a lot of extra shows as well. We have the real estate investing extras. We call it REIX, and we do just our keynote speeches from our meetings, our monthly meetings here in Birmingham, Alabama. We do a lot of extra shows. We have our real estate attorney. We do some stuff with him. We put on our extra shows as well. But our interview show always comes out every single Tuesday morning, and this is supposed to be the interview show. But this week is going to be just a little bit different. There's no guest. It's just me. I'm going to talk to you guys for a minute about what we have going on here in Birmingham that is really going to impact you if you live here, and it's going to impact you even if you don't live here. So we're very excited to announce some stuff. But before we do all that, I really just want to kind of welcome you guys to the podcast. If you've never heard of us before, we were Alabama's only real estate podcast, and now I've decided, we were already interviewing guests all throughout the country, not only guests who are local here to Birmingham and local to the state of Alabama. We were about half the time. We were bringing on, even more than half the time, we were bringing on guests that were coming from all throughout the country. So we are going to just officially make this a nationwide podcast. Today is going to mark the very first episode where it is officially nationwide, and it's not specific to the state of Alabama any longer, although we still will have some guests from the state of Alabama. So I want to talk about why we decided to do this and what you can expect going forward. Well, let me answer the second question first. Nothing's really going to change. I'm still me. I'm still Brian. I invest in real estate here in the state of Alabama, and I still love to talk to people from all throughout the country to understand what's going on in different pockets and different areas. So nothing's really going to change, but I want to really explain, take maybe the next 5 or 10 minutes, however long this takes. It's going to be a short show, by the way, and just explain why I decided to kind of rebrand everything. We're getting rid of AlaREIA. AlaREIA will be no longer. We're even changing the name of our actual real estate investment club. We're changing it to REI Live, Real Estate Investing Live. And there's two things. There's two of the most important things when it comes to real estate investing that I've found throughout my career. I've been doing this for a little over 6 years now. I'm in my 7th year investing in real estate. And the two things that have come up the most consistently that I think are the most critical things when it comes to real estate. And when I say that, I'm talking, it's more important. These things are more important than talking to sellers. It's more important than making offers. It's more important than building a big buyer's list. It's more important than all these tactical things that are very important, by the way. But these two things are going to really set the stage for your real estate investing career. So if you are brand new, or even if you've been doing real estate for a little bit of time, keep these two things in the back of your mind. One, real estate is local. Real estate is extremely local. What happens here in Birmingham is not necessarily going to happen anywhere else in the country. Birmingham is a very specific market. If we had to compare Birmingham to something, it mostly resembles Memphis. And these are just two cash-flowing towns, cash-flowing cities. If you start talking about LA and Phoenix and Denver and really, a lot of the bigger cities out west, in any really big city, if you're talking about like a top 25 metro area nationwide, you're not really going to see a lot of cash flow. You're going to see a lot of appreciation and depreciation. You're going to see a lot of volatility. You don't really get that here. But the point I'm trying to make is real estate is local. It's localized. When someone makes a broad statement that we're in a down market right now, well, or maybe a better scenario is we're in an up market right now. Things are looking good across the board. That's not necessarily true. As a whole, it is true for sure. There's really no debating that. As a whole, as the entire country is concerned, real estate is on the rise. Average sales prices all throughout the country are definitely on the rise. There's no question about it. But here's what's interesting. Let's just use Birmingham because I live here and it's what I know. Let's just use Birmingham, for example. If you talk about the strong retail type of markets, of course, average sales price is on the rise. Days on market is getting lower and lower and lower. Total inventory is getting lower and lower. All those kinds of things are very prevalent. But what's not, and what you may miss, is that might be all of Birmingham and maybe the retail areas, but you start getting into maybe the inner city, you start getting into maybe the B-class areas, the C-class areas in Birmingham, they're not really appreciating. The average sales price is really not going up that much. And if you've paid attention to us and you listen to the Birmingham area market analysis, which we're still going to keep doing, by the way, but if you listen to these things, Birmingham, there are pockets of Birmingham that have not appreciated in the past, 5 to 7 years since we've been in a bull market, right? And there's a lot of areas in maybe your town, wherever you live, there are going to be some specific areas that are not appreciating, could even be depreciating. And the only way to know that stuff is to study your market. And the point I'm trying to make is real estate is extremely local. It's localized even to the street by street areas, to the street by street level, down that deep. Now, if you just say Denver, Colorado, Phoenix, Arizona, of course, those cities are appreciating like crazy. Of course they are. But there might be some pockets in these areas that may not be. And that's why it's very important to understand your local market. Not just local, your big city, but local to maybe the town within the suburb, the street within your city, the neighborhood within your city. It's very important. I'm going to get back to that in 1 second. But that's the first important thing that anyone really needs to understand about real estate investing, is that it's extremely localized, and that's a point that gets glossed over just enormously, but it's such a huge point. I'm going to tie that all in here in the end. I'm going to get back to that in 1 second. But the second thing that I've noticed that is just some of the most important things that I know about real estate. The second one is it's local, for sure. But even more important than that, real estate is live. It's live, not alive. Real estate is live. So maybe you think, when I think of like live, when I think of an experience. I think I go to a lot of concerts and shows. I go to football games and baseball games and things like that. Basketball games. I go to a lot of live sporting events. They're live. Real estate is the same thing. It's live. It's in person. It's in color. It's I think Saturday Night Live. These things that are live. Anything can happen at any time. That's obviously where we got the name REI Live, Real Estate Investing Live. But here's what I really and truly mean by that, by real estate being live. It's all about networking. Real estate investing is all about networking. And just throw that out there. I think it's the single most important thing when it comes to real estate, by the way, is networking. But just to throw that out there, that word, again, you talk about things that get glossed over. Real estate's local. Of course it's local, but it gets glossed over. Networking. Oh, of course, yeah, your network is your net worth. We've all heard these things. But what is networking truly? And I want to spend just a couple of minutes defining networking. And some of you might be saying, Brian, we know what networking is. You don't have to define something that's so simple. But I don't think it is simple. I don't think it's as simple as you, the listener, or if you're watching this on YouTube, I don't think it's as simple as you may think that it is. Networking is critical to our business, and this is my definition of networking. You can go to Webster's dictionary and get a good working definition of it, and that's fine. You can Google search it. That's fine. You can come up with your own thing, meeting people, trying to figure out a way to work together. I get all that. This is how I define networking. Networking is the art. It's an art. It is an art. It's a skill. Okay? Networking is the art of putting two people together for a common good, and here's the kicker, without the expectation of receiving anything in return. Let me repeat that. Networking is the art, it is the skill of putting two people or two companies together for a common good without the expectation of receiving anything in return. This is such a critical statement. I've spent months and months thinking about this and trying to define this and pinpointing it. And I've asked other people what they think. I've gotten input from a lot of other people. Guys, networking is so important. AlaREIA, REI Live, none of this can exist without my network of people that I've spent years cultivating, purposefully cultivating, doing things on purpose. For instance, just a couple of just minor examples. Friend requesting certain people on Facebook, sending certain people direct messages on Facebook. Hey, I know you don't know who I am, but I've been following you for a while. I just want to let you know that I really appreciate you, appreciate the content that you're putting out. Just that simple little statement and couple sentences that you could send out to some people that really and truly does make an impact. You're not asking, networking is not going out and asking people for things. Networking is trying to figure out solutions. Networking is, I like to just ask people, hey, what are some challenges you're going through today? What are some things I might be able to help you with? If you have any challenges today, maybe there's something that I can bring to the table. Maybe not me personally, but maybe I know of someone that could solve a potential problem that you have, and I could connect those dots without the expectation of receiving anything back in return. And that's the key. You do it out of goodwill. And the reason you do it out of goodwill, because it's going to come back to you. It's called karma. It's a law. It's a law of reciprocation. You know, when reciprocation is I do something for someone, they're going to feel the need and the want to do something back in return for me. Completely unprompted. I know a lot of you who've been following me for a while, you know that I follow Gary Vaynerchuk. I love Gary V. He says something very specific about this. He wants to be 51% of every relationship that he's in. And I've kind of stolen that. I've kind of taken that on as my mantra. Like, I love that. I want to be 51% of every relationship that I'm in. Not just my marriage or my relationship with my children or my relationship with my friends, but also my business relationships. I want to be 51% of those relationships. Why? Gary V says the reason he does that is so he can guilt people. That's right. So he can guilt people into wanting them, for them to want to do something back in return for him. And if the one person doesn't, it's fine, because someone else will. So like I put out all this goodwill. I give away so much stuff for free. I put out content. We do podcasts, YouTube videos. I give away all this content for practically free. Why? Why do I do it? Because of the law of reciprocation. And it won't be with everybody, but some people it will come back. It will come back in return, and it will come back to me. And it'll come back to me tenfold. It's like, why do you tithe? Why would you tithe? Why would you give away a portion of what you have? Well, I tithe because God says in His Word that He will bring it back to me abundantly, way more. He'll overflow my cup way more than what I actually gave out. That's why we tithe. It's the same principle. So guys, let's tie it all together. Let's wrap this thing up and let's tie the whole thing together. Real estate is local and real estate's live. Okay? And what does that mean? Real estate is local and real estate is live. Well, let's think about this. What does this mean? For me and for my really good friend Tom Kroll, who is going in this business venture with me, we are putting together live events all throughout the country. That's right. Live real estate events all throughout the country. They're coming almost like the college football song on ESPN on College Game Day. We're coming to your city, right? We're coming to you because real estate is local. Real estate, if you're listening to this it doesn't matter, in Green Bay, Wisconsin, if you're listening to this in Boise, Idaho, if you're listening to this in Providence, Rhode Island, it doesn't matter where you are. We are coming to you because real estate for you is local. It's local, and this was a local show, local to the state of Alabama, local to the city of Birmingham, but now I want this show to be local to you. And it will be, because we're going to bring on guests from all throughout the country that are in these markets, and we want to dissect these individual markets and talk about them and what's going on in these niche markets like Columbus, Ohio, and just these little niche markets, Jackson, Mississippi. What's going on in these places that where maybe we can invest there. Maybe we can connect a couple of people. Maybe there's someone who has a lot of houses. Maybe there's someone who wants to buy a lot of houses in these areas. I don't know. We don't ever know. But the whole point is we want to be there. We want to be local, and we want to be live. It's one thing to listen to a podcast. It's one thing to watch a YouTube video, but it's a totally different experience if you are there, if you are at an event. And I say this all the time when people come to our real estate investing events that we put on here locally in Birmingham. When people come to our events, I tell them all the time, you are not here to listen to the keynote speaker. Now, the keynote speaker is going to be awesome, and he's going to give you great information, but that's not why you come. That's not why you go to these events. Because if that was true, then we put everything on YouTube a week or two later. Why would you ever go to a conference? Why would you ever go listen to like a Tony Robbins when you can hear everything he has to say on YouTube? Gary Vee. Why would I ever go pay to go see Gary Vee somewhere when I've heard everything he has to say? He has nothing new to say. Why would I go pay to see him? Why would I go there? I go there to be live, to be a part of a live a live experience. Why would you go to a concert? Why would you go to a sporting event when it's on TV? Or you can listen to the CD, or you can listen to the MP3. You can listen to it. Why would you even go to these things? Why would you pay? Because you're live, and it's an experience. And not only that, real estate. What separates real estate from like a sporting event is that you're also there to network. You're also there to meet people. You're there to meet people to try to figure out how you can do business together, or try to figure out how you can connect dots where you could be known as that authority, that local authority, and you can make a big, huge, massive difference in your local area. Guys, I hope you've gotten something out of this. I know there's no interview show this week. Just want to pour out my heart to you guys and just kind of let you know the vision behind and the reasons why we started REI Live, Real Estate Investing Live. It is very, very important that this message gets out and it resonates with you wherever you live, wherever you are. We are coming to you, by the way. We are going to make sure we have a live event, if not in your city, very close to your city where you can get to it, because we're partnering with people all throughout the country to make sure that happens. And if that might be you, and you think you might be that person that, you know what, Brian, I want to be that guy that is kind of hosts this live event, just reach out to me. You know how to get in touch with me. Just reach out to me. I love you guys so much. You have no idea what this podcast has done for me personally and for the brand, and now the REI Live brand. You have no idea what it's done and what it's meant for me personally. The people that reach out to me, the people that send me the emails and friend request me on Facebook and send me these notes and follow me on Instagram and send me these messages. Guys, it means so much to me. You mean the world to me. I love you so much. I hardly ever ask you for anything. I love just to pour my heart out to you and give you as much as I have to give. So until next time, the one thing I will ask of you is to hit that subscribe button. You're listening to this on iTunes. Stop right now. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can get alerts when our new interview shows come out. Guys, next week we have an incredible interview. The week after that, we've got a great one. And the week after that, we've got the next 3 recorded. The very first 3 REI Live interview shows are phenomenal guests. Very excited for you to listen to what those guys have to say. We will see you guys next week for another interview show. And until next time, we love you.